Despite the music and dancing, this is not a happy occasion. Protesters rally in the streets of Sao Paulo to mourn the murder of a prominent politician, once described as a tireless social warrior. The biggest marches were in her hometown of Rio de Janeiro, where tens of thousands of Brazilians gathered outside the city's council. This is the woman whose killing has provoked such outrage, Marielle Franco. The 38-year-old councillor has become a voice for black rights, as well as fighting against police violence in poor areas of the city. Police officials say she was deliberately targeted. Franco was shot 4 times in the head, and her driver was also killed. Her assistant, who was sitting in the back, survived. Brazil's president was quick to speak out to condemn the killing, even though the two had disagreed over his recent plans to put the army in charge of security in Rio de Janeiro.
The assassination of Councilwoman Marielle and her driver, Anderson Gomes, is unacceptable, inadmissible, like all the other murders that happen in Rio de Janeiro. It is truly an attack on the rule of law and on our democracy.
Temer has promised to carry out a full and transparent investigation. The people on the streets are angry and point the finger at the authorities.
There is a lot of indignation against this cowardice. They want to silence a woman who fought for rights, for justice, a poor, young black woman.
We are in 2018 and the injustice carries on. That's why we gathered here today. We're tired of injustice. We want this to go not unpunished, for our friend, our colleague, our sister's death not to go unpunished, because her blood cries out.
One of Franco's final posts on Twitter criticized the police killing of a young man as he was leaving church. Human rights groups say police in Rio are responsible for at least 1,000 killings last year. Hannah Hoxter, Al Jazeera.
Now, I want to talk about the fact that we lost some greats this week who left us with so much. But unfortunately, last night we lost one more. Marielle Franco, she's a city council member in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, who spoke out against police violence in the slums and human rights protections for the city's poorest citizens. She was shot to death Wednesday night in a suspected assassination. Now, Franco was only 38 years old. Her legacy of freedom fighting and courage already lives on as protesters have taken to the streets of Rio. Now, I wanted to highlight her today, not only because of her selfless fight, but to shine a light on how often cases like these are overlooked. Political violence is rampant in many countries. Seeing such a promising young woman murdered simply for speaking out to make other people's lives better is heartbreaking. But it's also counterproductive. They may have taken her life, but they can never silence her message and what she stood for. In fact, the fact that we're speaking about her today means her voice may be louder in death than it could have been in life. Now it's up to the rest of us to take that amplified message and awareness and make her dream a reality. Rest in power, Marielle Franco, and thank you.